Good evening, good evening, good evening. So I hope my voice is audible. I hope my voice is audible. Can anyone confirm in chat box if my voice is audible? Audible. Perfect. So we'll start the session in a minute. Today's topic is very interesting topic to know about the case processing workflow and different steps involved in the case processing workflow. So today I'll be having some interesting session which will discuss about what are the different steps involved in case processing workflow and how case processing workflow generally works on it. So this is today's topic. So I'll give quickly 1 minute of time or a half a minute of time so that other people also can join in quickly. So my first agenda will be we'll be discussing about what is case processing, what are the steps involved in case processing, and then I'll be discussing about some interview based question and answers which I'll be taking through lively. If whatever questions they are being asked in interviews, how do we answer this kind of a questions during interview? So based on it, we'll focus on most important part, which is in pharmacovigilance, that is case processing workflow, and the responsibility of case processing workflow is with your drug safety associate. So drug safety associate is responsible for your pharmacovigilance. Okay, so now without any delay, let's jump into the topic. First of all, I wanted to introduce to the forum those people who have not joined the earlier sessions. So my name is Mujib, and I'm the founder and CEO for Clinosol Research, and I'm the co-trainer for clinical research and pharmacovigilance and medical writing. Hopefully, my voice is audible for everyone now. So I'll be taking today's most interesting topic, which is called as case processing workflow, which comes into your pharmacovigilance. Now, coming back to a point where it is called as pharmacovigilance, pharmacovigilance started with a history called as thalidomide tragedy. So thalidomide tragedy started the story of pharmacovigilance, wherein there was no system called as how do you identify adverse event, and early detection and early prevention of adverse event was missing. So this started creation and awareness that there should be a process wherein the early detection and early prevention of your drug related risks and also adverse events should be taken care. So when we started speaking about the early detection and early prevention, then we got something word called as pharmacovigilance. Now the pharmacovigilance as per WHO, how it has been defined is it's a science and activities which deals with four words. First one is detection, second one is assessment, third one is understanding, and fourth one is prevention of adverse events and drug related risks. So detection, assessment, understanding, and prevention of adverse events or drug related risks. Now coming back to case processing workflow. So when we wanted to know about case processing workflow, we should also understand one of the most important activity, which is called as case. So now what is a case? So either it is ICSR or it's a case. So now first of all, what is ICSR is individual case safety report. So what is individual case safety report is any case which is being reported, by your HCPs or non-HCPs, where it involves adverse drug reaction or safety related information associated with any drug product or a device or anything regarding the use of the patient, then it is called as your case processing workflow. So any single case which is being reported, then it is called as your case processing workflow. So now how do a case processing workflow, what are the steps involved in case processing workflow? The first step which is involved is the case identification or receipt of case. So first of all, you need to identify a case, or you need to get the case from the different types of sources. Either it is healthcare professionals or non-healthcare professionals, or either it is spontaneous case, or either it is literature case, or all those kind of cases. You will be getting this type of information or cases. So this is one of the most important aspect, wherein the cases are being identified through various channels. Either it is spontaneous, or either it is healthcare professionals, or either it is consumers or regulatory authorities. Once the case is received, it goes for the next step, which is called as triage, wherein the case is prioritized based on multiple criteria. Either it is seriousness criteria, expectedness, or types of cases, or the information which is being received, the triage will be done. So that's a second step. And third step, which includes your data entry. So the data entry, wherein the pharmacovigilance database, the data is being entered, for making sure the accurate and standardized data entry as per ICH E2B format, it is being entered or not, we are going to look into it. So the third step is triage. So the first step is adverse event collection or reporting or case identification or receipt of case. The second step is the triage. The third step is data entry. And the next step is you go for medical review. So once the data entry is done, then you go for a medical review. Medical review is healthcare professional conduct a detailed assessment of a case, whether the medical aspect and causality and severity of the adverse event is correctly mentioned, correctly processed by your data entry person or not. The medical assessment is being done here, and causality assessment is being checked in your medical assessment, wherein the determination of likelihood whether the drug is related or not related is being checked. In parallel, along with this process, there will be something which is called as coding, because there are terms which are being involved, which are your medical history terms or your drug terms which are being coming into picture. Then you will get into medra coding. The adverse event terms or medical conditions or drug names you are coded by using WHO, or the diseases and adverse events are being coded by your medra. Along with meta codings, we will get parallelly one more step which is called as narrative writing. So narrative writing is a detailed summary report of the sequence of the events leading to adverse events, either for the medical intervention from the time he has received, or he took a drug and he got an adverse event and outcome of adverse events. All those things in a story wise, it is being prepared. Then it is called as narrative writing. And then we get one of the most important step, which is called as quality check. So you check for the quality assessments, whether the case processed or the data entry is being done, or medical coding is being done, or narrative writing is being done, and it is being prioritized as per your standards or not, is being performed. Then it is called as quality check is being checked, or the quality assessment is being checked. So that is what you call it as quality check. And the last step in this is the reporting. So individual case safety reports are being reported according to the regulatory requirement. Either it is for Europe, it is called as ultravigilance. For FDA, it is called as MedWatch. And based on this single cases, there might be something which is called as aggregate reporting. The next step is signal management, and next step is risk assessment. So now in a nutshell, what is case processing? So it starts with receipt of case, the receiving of the case from the system, how you go and get the receipt of cases. And the second step, how you are going to perform the triage and data entry, parallelly the medical coding and narrative rating. Then you go for medical evaluation or your causality assessments. Then you will go for quality assurance or quality control check. Then you go for the reporting of your ICSR. So in a nutshell, this is the steps which are being involved in the case processing workflow. So during case processing workflow, you need to understand some of the steps which are called as: first, when you receive a case, there are different types of cases which you receive. So either it is unsolicited cases or solicited cases. Unsolicited cases are considered as a spontaneous case or literature case or your social media cases or internet case or legal cases. When it is coming back to solicited cases, it might be a clinical trial case or a survey cases, or a cases which are being reported by organized data collection systems. So now this is one more type. When you understand the type of case, then it is easy for you to case process. And one more most important part, everyone will be asking about this kind of a question, which is called as day zero. So the day zero is called as the initial receipt date, or the day when the MAH has received the case from any of the people like healthcare professional or non-HCPs or legal professional or doctors or anyone who has reported this type of case, and MAH has received this type of case, then it is called as a day zero, or you call it as IRD, which is initial receipt date. This is the date when we call it as time clock start point, wherein the regulatory reporting timeline starts from this particular time. So in a nutshell, if you wanted to know about the different steps involved in the case processing workflow, it is case identification and receipt, data entry and triage, medical assessments, coding and narrative writing, quality checks, and reporting of the cases, aggregate reporting, signal management, and risk management, and communication and archiving of the cases. So in a nutshell, this is all the steps we involve, and we spoke about type of cases, either it is spontaneous case or literature case or social media case or digital media case or internet case, and the solicited cases or clinical trial case or survey cases or patient used programs or poison registries or clinical trial registry cases are called the solicited cases. And one of the most important thing is when we call it as the case as valid case, when you have 4 valid criteria. So when there is a subject information, when there is a adverse event information, when there is a reporter information, and when there is a suspected drug information, then it is called as valid criteria. So identifiable subject, identifiable reporter, and at least one suspect drug, and at least one adverse event. So these are the details when we call it as how you are going to perform your case processing workflow. So generally, case processing workflow is being done by your pharmacovigilance drug safety associates who does this kind of activities. So now in a nutshell, I spoke about one of the most important step, which is called as drug safety associate case processing workflow, wherein it involves receipt of case, triage, data entries, and then parallelly medical coding and narrative writing and medical evaluation, and then your quality control checks and reporting, and then aggregate report. So this much we have discussed about your case processing workflow. Now I'll take some questions, which are the possible interview questions which can be asked in interviews. So people can ask, who are watching this live session can ask any questions you have, who you wanted to understand about what are the different levels of interview based questions can be asked. So nowadays interview based questions are asked about what are the types of cases. People can type in if you have questions, live interview questions, so that I can answer this, wherein we can answer this live YouTube video. So generally interview questions are being asked. The people are asking that what are the types of cases, and one more question is being asked as what is spontaneous case, what is literature case, or what is internet case or digital media case, social media case. They are asking about this also. So spontaneous case, if anyone asks you what is spontaneous case, try to answer this question. This is unsolicited report which is being reported by HCP or non-HCP to a MAH or regulatory authorities or WHO, in which a patient has taken one or more drugs, who was being treated with one or more drugs, who have got one or more adverse events during your clinical trial or during your unorganized data collection system. So it's a unorganized data collection system reported by HCPs and non-HCPs. So who has reported a case or adverse event in a patient who has taken one or more drugs and who has got one adverse event, which is unorganized data collection system. So this is called as your spontaneous case. And coming back to social media case, any case which has been reported in your social medias. And internet case is the case which is being reported in websites of your pharmaceutical company will have one dedicated websites wherein how the information is being collected in the websites. So I think I have got some questions also. What are the necessary information collected during case processing? See, generally, as I said, that 4 informations are most important. First one is subject information. Second one is reporter information. Third one is your drug information. Fourth one is your event information. So now in first information, when you say that subject information, you cannot collect subject name because it's a confidentiality as per your ICH. You have to collect information on the subject, only the initials and country for the identification of the subject, like age group and all those things. And then you have to collect the medical history of the subjects, what are the different medical histories of the subjects, and then the lab reports of the subjects. Any information about lab details have to be collected for the subjects. And apart from this, you should collect the type of case and the reporter information. Who is the reporter? Either it is HCP or non-HCP. What are the different informations you have on the reporter information also has to be collected. Apart from this, you have to collect information on your particularly suspected drug, the drug name. What is the drug name or what are the different drugs, the suspect drug or concomitant medication or your co-suspect drug which is being taken by your subject. That's one information what has to be collected. And also the dosage, route of administration, frequency, duration, and onset latency, and total dose, daily dose, the last drug, first adverse event, all these calculations will be given in your type of information which is being taken on your particularly drug information. And apart from this, you will collect the information which is called as adverse event information. So a detailed information about the adverse event: term, severity, seriousness, start date, stop date, duration, and frequency of adverse events, and outcome of adverse events, and if any death information is being collected. All these informations are being given in your adverse event information. So adverse event information, you would be giving the circumstances, the adverse event term which is being coded, and severity and outcome of adverse events, and also your seriousness, and also your death information, hospitalization information, frequency of adverse events, duration of adverse events, and the time duration from the last drug to the adverse event, and time duration from the first drug to the adverse event. So this many information will be given. And apart from that, drug information, the name of the drug, the strength of the drug, formulation of the drug, and the dosing of the drug, like dosing regimen, frequency, duration, product usage, all those things, batch number, lot number, concomitant medication, co-suspect drug, and treatment drugs. All this information is being given in your particularly the case processing workflow. So now if anyone asks you what are the information required for case processing workflow: subject information, reporter information, medical history information, lab information, adverse event information, suspect drug information, co-suspect drug or concomitant medication or treatment drugs, and in adverse event information, so many sub information can be collected in your in your case processing workflow. So I think I have answered that question, hopefully. So I think I have got some more questions. Overview of case processing workflow in your organization. If someone is asking this question saying that, okay, can you provide more information about case processing workflow in the organization? Just let's be honest that every organization will have separately different types of processes for case processing workflow. But genuinely, it is only one step which is being involved, that is your receipt of case, how the case is being received, and then how it is being triaged, how it is being prioritized, and how the data entry is being done, how the medical coding and narrative writing is being done, and how the QC review is being done, and how it is being reported for your ICSR case processing workflow. So this is most important aspect for the case processing workflow. How are we going to do it in a nutshell, the case processing workflow? So now next question, what are the key objectives of pharmacovigilance team? See, the key objective of pharmacovigilance team is very simple, that whatever the drugs or devices or vaccines or whatever it is being sold, it has to be having the safety for ongoing. So ongoingly, you have to understand the risks which are being associated with the products, and how are we going to process it, and how are we going to put all these cases in aggregate reports, and identifying the signals and preventing the signals during the process. Then it is called as your objectives of pharmacovigilance team. The objective of pharmacovigilance team is very simple: detection and identification of unexpected or identified or unlisted or previously not detected or previously not identified or previously not understood. So that's something which is called as most important part. So which is the objective of your pharmacovigilance team. And once they have identified it, they will start preventing it, or they will start understanding that how this can be prevented in further process in pharmacovigilance. So the pharmacovigilance in a nutshell: detection, prevention, detection, prevention. The objective is very simple: you detect it, you process it, you put it in aggregate reports, you do it a signal management, or you do it risk management, you archive the cases, and you all do that, all kind of things. But prevention is most important thing which you have to understand, or which you have to do it. Either it is prevention is update of labeling, or update of dosing, or giving some information about that this drug should not be used in this format, or this drug should not be used in this words, or something like that. So that's something which is more important for us. Okay, so now there is one more thing which is called as, is there any regulatory timelines for reporting of ICSR? Yeah, definitely. ICSR has a regulatory reporting timelines, wherein most importantly, it depends on the type of case which is being reported. So now, as per your ICH, there are two types of cases. One is the clinical trial cases and one is marketed cases. So now, as per your ICH E2 A, the timeline is for serious cases, if it is death or life threatening, it is 7 days. And if it is other than this criteria, it is 15 days. And for all the marketed cases, if it falls under serious case which is unexpected and related, then it is 15 days. So the regulatory timelines will all depend on the regulations which you are using. As per ICH guidelines, it is 7 days if it is clinical trial case for death and life threatening, and it should be a serious case which is related and unexpected. And all other criteria in clinical trials, it's 15 days. But if it is marketed cases, then it is called as 15 calendar days for marketed types of cases. So this is your regulatory timeline. It also depends on each country's regulatory timelines. So I think I have answered some questions also. I have one more question. What is the process involved in triage? So now what is called as triage is prioritization of cases. Prioritization of cases is called as the triage. So whenever you have this information called as triage, then it is called as prioritization of the cases. So prioritization can be done based on the seriousness and potential impact, and the serious cases will be given the highest priority. The highest priority, immediate attention and assessment should be done, and then duplicate check should be checked. So the pharmacovigilance team also checks for the duplicate case to avoid unnecessarily the burden on the cases or burden on the database. So duplicate reports are the same report which is being reported by multiple resources, multiple sources. So duplicate reports are the same adverse events need to be identified and consolidated and should not be processed. So now in your case processing workflow, the triage includes your prioritization, duplicate case, identification of initial receipt date, including coding of the adverse events and some of the causality assessments for your triage. So during triage, you will prioritize the case, and also you check for validity of case, and you also check for your day zero. You will also check for your types of cases and also duplicate cases, and also coding and causality assessment will be checked in your types of cases or in triage kind of system. So in a nutshell, I have taken some nice questions which were being asked. First question, what are the necessary information? I have answered that question, that there will be subject information, medical history, lab information, drug information, and event information. The second question I have taken is, tell me about the case processing workflow, where receipt of case, triage, data entries and codings, and narrative writings, and medical assessments, and quality control review, and then reporting of the cases. And regulatory timeline, 7 days and 15 days, which we have already discussed. And what are the process of case triage, wherein the triage is prioritization of case, initial receipt date, validity of case, and coding of cases, and understanding about your causality assessment or the relationship between the drug and adverse event. Okay, so now there is one more question. How do we receive the information of adverse events or safety information for the pharmaceutical products? There are different people who reports the adverse events. The first one, HCPs, the healthcare professionals, including pharmacists, doctors, nurses, or anyone who works at the hospital level, HCPs. The second one is consumers, or the people who works at the patient level, or the people who are relatives or the patient itself can report this type of cases. And there are other people also, that like regulatory bodies can report, or other MAH can report, or the reports can come by using social medias. The reports can come by mails. The reports can come by IVRS, IWRS. The reports can come by technology. The reports can be posted in your social medias, or there might be a discussion, a group of forum, wherein there is a patient who is telling that I took a drug and suddenly I got an adverse event. And there might be a patient who directly takes a phone and put a call to toll-free number saying that, okay, I got an adverse event, and this adverse event is this XYZ. So this kind of information is being received by multiple people, and we receive by multiple sources. multiple technology, multiple people, multiple sources, the cases can be getting to your pharmaceutical company. So here is a challenge that why pharmacovigilance in huge demand, because the amount of cases, the amount of adverse events, and the amount of activities which are being continuously done in pharmacovigilance has been increasing, because the types of cases which we are receiving has been increased so much, so vastly, that the number of cases which are being dumped on the pharmaceutical companies have increased. The technology has grown so much that we have toll-free number, even PVPA has toll-free number, mail IDs, red card, apps are being developed wherein you can directly go on to PVPA app and you can report the adverse event to Indian government, or you can go to the AMCs where the hospitals are associated with the PVPI directly, and you can report type of cases. So I think this many things can be involved. I have taken some process which is called as case processing workflow, and I have answered 5 questions. What are the necessary information collected for the case processing? The second question, information which is being given in your case processing workflow, and key objectives of pharmacovigilance team, and what are the regulatory timelines. I have spoken about ICH regulatory timelines, and also I have spoken about how do we receive adverse event reports information from the pharmaceutical product. Different types of information we have discussed about it. So I think we started this session with understanding about the pharmacovigilance and drug safety associate. With this half an hour of session, anyone can attend the interviews of pharmacovigilance and case processing workflow. But yes, definitely there is more information to be understood about MEDRA or types of cases, and also day zeros and all those information which has to be processed as per ICH E2A. The guidelines ICH E2 is about the pharmacovigilance, and there are some other guidelines like COMS guidelines are there, or GVP guidelines are there. There are other guidelines which are being used for your pharmacovigilance. So I think we have taken so much of topic on this pharmacovigilance. Next week, I'm thinking to take a live session on medical writing. One of the topic I'll be taking live interview based question and answers for medical writing. I think I have taken one on protocol, one on clinical data management, one on pharmacovigilance. Next week, I'm trying to make it for medical writing, and after that week, I'll try to put some questions for SAS, and after that, something about regulatory affairs. And I hope the session was useful. And if you have any more sessions which are required for this kind of environment, please put it in your comments. And please do subscribe about Clinosol research, and we'll be uploading more of videos, and more digital content will be online available so that students can use it. Any new sessions which students wants to listen, please do put in comments box, and please do give the feedback about the session, how the session was there. And I hope I have made some difference in about attending the interviews for pharmacovigilance, and how pharmacovigilance drug safety associate does this kind of works. So thank you so much. Have a nice, wonderful weekend. Please do subscribe our Clinosol research page. And tomorrow I have a LinkedIn live on the career exploration for trial master file, career growth, salary package, companies required, and responsibilities of trial master file. So I'll be taking tomorrow one more session on LinkedIn live about trial master file and its opportunities and its career level growth. Till now, thank you so much. Have a nice, wonderful weekend.